now the buzzword that everyone talks about is AI, right? Generative AI. As we know, dollars are shifting, marketing budgets have been shifting significantly to digital channels. So there's a certain expectation of how do we then evaluate the effectiveness of what we call cross-channel optimization. Key point is marketing is no longer, maybe some people say in the past, gut feel. Gut feel is still really important. It's not 100% art, neither is it 100% science, right? So I think what hasn't changed is that in this profession, it's always about creating logic and magic. That balance of logic and magic hasn't changed. But how do you get to the logic has changed. And I think has very much been empowered and enabled by technology. So we now have many ways of getting deeper insights from data. But of course, that always starts with asking the right question. In the past, right, you rely on consumers almost filtering and telling you things. Now, technology with, like in the last few years, a lot of cookies, a lot of behavioral data that we can get, which we couldn't get before, right? So there's some very fundamental change that is made possible from a consumer understanding perspective. Now, the other aspect is, again, the techniques that you use to judge reaction to a piece of communication, a story and all that. Again, in the past, you're limited by just what people already filter and what they want to say. But now, technology can track your eyeballs. They can maybe in time to come track your heartbeat, on how you're reacting, so that, that kind of data don't lie, right? And hopefully it will get us more intimate with what the consumer is thinking and feeling and eventually buying. I think the big difference is that there's less room for you to waste their time or giving them or serving them things they don't want. I think the tolerance level is lower than before, because now they can block your ad, and we know that, the holy grail, I think, of great comms is that you create content, a piece of communication or story that people seek out, right? That hasn't changed. But the tolerance for what is sort of like rubbish or spam or clutter is lower than ever before, because there are ways to avoid it, So I think that makes our job as professionals harder. And also when a piece of work is not getting that kind of eyeballs or engagement, then the good side is that you have more ways to find out why. But that curiosity, that constant learning is, I think, an attitude that we all need to embrace. How do we use, say, generative AI to create more magic and to create that kind of film or content that previously was not possible because we didn't have that kind of budget? We can't do that kind of 10 location shoot and all that, but now potentially you can, right? So I think that's the possibility. But of course, there's a school of thought that say, hey, do we still need people to write scripts? ChatGPT can maybe write an ad, in time to come. Now, I think just like when the world got introduced to Adobe and, there's like nobody's doing manual photo touch-up, right? It's now Photoshop. I think it's that journey. I don't think it replaces human yet, but I think it challenges us. The tool is both an empowerment, but also a challenge, because you need to really apply your gut, your empathy for how humans respond fundamentally. And I think that's probably the one area that kind of still guarantee that we have a job, because I think human beings, and this is tested by science, is evidence-based, that we are emotional creatures, So it's still the job of professionals to tell compelling emotional stories that move the hearts and move the wallets.